Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Demonologist UK live stream here on the HAPRC network. And boy, have we got a good one for you tonight. First things first, though, don't forget we are collecting for the National Autistic Society. Head over to my page, Demonologist, search me up on Facebook or hit facebook.com/The Demonologist UK. Head over to the GoFundMe, 100% effective, 100% goes to the cause. And yeah, just head over there, man. The more you put in there, the better it's going to be for all the people out there that this charity supports. It's going to be amazing if we can raise up and get this thing going. Don't forget as well, as I've got some things in the pipeline. The official merchandise should be ready for next week. So if you guys have been waiting for the "It Wasn't Me, It Was the Demons" t-shirt, it's coming out. It's on its way. Now let's move on to tonight. Now tonight I'm very, very, very excited because we are joined by Russell Old from Essex Ghost Hunters. I started my career in the paranormal with this guy. I remember the first investigation I went out with these guys at Cash's Wells, and it was many, many, many years ago. Russ is a really good friend of mine as well. I mean, this guy literally started my interest in the paranormal, so I'm really excited to get him on tonight. Don't forget, guys, any questions that you do have for Russ tonight, hold him tight to the second part of the show after the ad breaks, and we're going to hit him up then when we get going. So, without further ado, let's bring Mr. Russell Old onto the show. Welcome, Russ.
Good evening, Damien. You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. How you doing?
I'm all good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Long time no speak, mate. Long time no speak.
Yeah, it's been a while. But
Yeah.
hey ho.
It's one of them things. No matter how long we don't talk to each other, we always seem to have things to talk about when we meet up. So it's great to have you on the show.
Well, that's the paranormal world for you, isn't it? You know, it's the biggest box of tricks I think we can find, the paranormal world. So there's always a conversation.
I compare it to like a box of Fruity Loops, because that's what we are.
Yeah, we're worse than that. That's a polite way of putting it.
Anybody that's going to sit in the dark room all night and talk to nothing is definitely a Fruity Loop in my perspective. Anyway. So how's things going over there at Essex Ghost Hunters? How are you going over there at Essex Ghost Hunters? How are things going? Because you guys, when we first went out with you, before Truth's Paranormal come along, it was quite an intimate small thing. And now I've checked your guys' websites out. You're doing like massive investigations at places that I never even been to myself.
This year, the 2020 year has been a crippling year for a lot of events companies. So, but we're hanging on in there. We're hanging on by the skin of our teeth, but we're doing the best we can. But yeah, it's hopefully this year comes, 2021. It's going to get us out a little bit more and get us there. Our guests and our followers have been really kind to us, and we've done different things. But yeah, we just want to try everywhere. Do you know what I mean? If you don't try it, you don't get it, do you?
No, and that's the thing I find as well. Like when I was investigating, if you sort of head over to the same places all the time, it starts to get a little bit stale after a while. So it's nice to get out there and check out all these other sort of venues that you wouldn't think to do.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's like bucket list stuff as well. I think you have to, we sort of come from the same area, so we know all the local ones like the Kelvin and Hatch nuclear bunker, Harwich Fault, and you can do them over and over again, and everything comes a little bit metronomic. You sort of know what you're sort of dealing with when you get there. So it's always nice as a medium and as a paranormal investigator, when we go to new places, it sort of sparks a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Especially like sort of heading out there, you're sort of putting yourself out your comfort zone, and as a medium as well, you have to do that. It's all part of your spiritual training. It's all a part of becoming a better medium. Is putting yourself out of your comfort zone to visiting these other venues that you've never been to before.
Exactly. And it pushes you. It pushes the boundaries as well. It ticks boxes as well.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, I've catched a couple of your lives there on Facebook. I know you do live readings during the COVID, I mean, how's that going for you? How are you finding all the live readings online? Because there's a lot of skepticism out there that people say, how can mediums give readings online? You know, they're not face to face. I mean, how would you know?
To be fair, spirit is all around us. It doesn't have to be in one particular area. What's to say, you know, who's wrong or right? It doesn't really matter to me. You know, you can sit here and tell me I'm wrong, but if I'm getting that message across, does it matter how I do it? You know, if I've made that person happy and they've got what they've needed from my message from spirit, then as far as I'm aware, that I've done the right job.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, the way you got to look at it is that, I mean, with anything with the paranormal, it's what you believe in. And I think what I find as well is that people like me and you, we don't try and force our beliefs on other people. We just sort of go, look, this is what we do. You can either believe it or you don't. There are people out there that do force it, and they're normally the ones that cause all this, what I like to call paranormal political drama, the PPD, which we've all been involved in.
There's enough of that out there at the moment.
Exactly, and it is crazy. I mean, I find these people that's bring it all down. I mean, with your readings online, do you find that has there been a great response to it? You know, do you find yourself comfortable with it? Is it something you had to sort of adjust to at first?
Yeah, it did. At first, it was a bit nerve-wracking because obviously it's like, you know, just testing the waters really to see how it would work.
Yeah.
And I only tried it just to keep our Facebook page ticking over, so to speak. I have the ability to give readings. I thought, let's just try it a different way. And to be fair, it has been really good. It has been really, really good.
Yeah.
The feedback's been really good as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I caught one of your lives, and like the people on there, they were going crazy for it. I mean, I think at one point, I was thinking the one you had the football in the background as well, and at one point you had like 55 people locked in, and I was just like, wow, Russ, seriously,
yeah,
breaking down barriers here, man.
Yeah, no. So, but when we come out of lockdown last year, the first lockdown we did, and we started to get back out, sort of doing lives. You know, we averaged normally around about 100 to 150 viewers. You know, like in our investigations. So, you know, there is a want for this. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I think it's how you do it as well.
Yeah, I agree, and it brings me on to my next question, which I wanted to sort of bring up to you. Do you think Facebook Live has completely revolutionized the way that you guys are investigating? Because I know you guys have been around for a very long time. Like I said at the beginning of the intro, I remember going to Cash's Wells with you guys.
That was 11 years ago.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely mental. I mean, I was interested in the paranormal before that, but that's the first time I actually started to go out and sort of experience investigating itself. But so do you think like this whole Facebook Live thing has completely revolutionized the way people are investigating now?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I think there's a good side about it as well as a bad side. I think, you know, the good side of it is that everyone now has the ability. Everybody that owns a paranormal company or runs, you know, or does their own little Facebook stuff has the ability to get their self out there. That's a good sign. But the stuff that comes along with it, with the negative comments and things like that, you have got to be strong backed for it. You really have.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's as simple as that. And as you say, we don't push our opinions onto people. You know, that's you either take my opinion and that's it. And you know me, I'm quite opinionated. But if you don't like it, I'm not going to sit there and hate you for it. It's your opinion. No. And to be fair, 9 times out of 10, if I have an opinion and someone else has an opinion, it's just two ways at looking around something. And we'll normally get back to the main part anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. I agree with that one. Just quickly, I'm just going to do a quick roll call for everybody that's there in the chat, because we've got a fair few locked in. So out to Patrick and Patricia, out to Jacqueline, out to Kathy as well, out to Jane and Darren Shaw, out to the boss man, out to Neil Packer. I mean, Neil runs this whole HAPRC network. The guy is like literally the hardest working person I've come across in the paranormal so far, because he does this. He's got like a community radio that you guys need to go and check out. He's got the center as well. I mean, that's a place you'd like to visit. I mean, you guys at Essex Ghost Hunters, you should speak to Neil about going down there, because they got some crazy stuff in the center. I mean, it's just full of like these haunted antiques, and they've got like this wheelchair back from like World War II times, and Anderson shelters and Dibbert boxes, and it's a crazy place to go. I've seen all the videos for it. It's just like they never had anything like this when we started up back in the day.
No,
you know what I mean?
they didn't. That's the sad thing about it, and all these sort of things start to come sort of out in the open when lockdown happens, doesn't it? And when you can't get there, and you want to get there, and it's annoying, but we will get there. We will get around. We've got a massive Essex Ghost Hunters has put a massive bucket list together this lockdown, that things that we've got to do, and yeah, I've just unfortunately, because of lockdown, I've just had to sort of cancel a Bran trip. We was going to Transylvania, to Bran Castle at the end of April.
To Bran. He's going to Bran Castle. Mate, that's been on my bucket list for a long time, for so many reasons.
But it's all been cancelled, so I'm gutted. But hey ho, it wasn't meant to be, was it? So
no, like we always say in the spirit world, you know, if things happen, they happen for a reason. You know, if you believe in spirit, you've got to believe in coincidence. You've got to believe in like, you know, spiritual paths and that. So yeah, I mean, it will happen. It will happen. I know you guys are the sort of team that when you put your heads together and when you want to do something, it happens 100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great. You know, you've obviously got your bucket list. Are there any sort of venues that are local that are top priority that you want to visit?
What, locally to Essex?
Locally to England, nowhere overseas. Like
Essex, I think I've done. England, Jedburgh Castle is definitely. Well, I say it's England, Scotland, Jedburgh Castle. I'd love to get to there. I've got
the elemental over there, isn't there? There's the wind element downstairs in the basement.
Yeah,
that's a cool one. It's a cool place.
So I'd love to get to there. We've got we've got a bucket. I've got one coming up if lockdown allows us in June. Shrewsbury Prison.
Oh yeah, that's a cool place,
because we did Shepton Mallet about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
and we just said we've got to do, because there's potential that these places are shutting down. Do you know what I mean? They're being sold off and things like that. So you've got to get in there quick.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's a bucket list thing. But I know a major bucket list that we are looking at the moment is Alcatraz. I know it's not England, but Alcatraz. I really want to get to Alcatraz.
That would be a cool place. I'm going to say it brings on to the next question. So, like you mentioned that of them, like the bucket list there, mainly they're all like sort of prison places. So, do you think like obviously the atmosphere when you investigate, do you think it's affected by the previous history of the place and the previous feelings that have been there?
Yeah, I do. I think it's obviously, we've been a spiritualist and things like that. We work with vibrations, so different vibrations, different feelings. And I think them sort of places, it's a lower vibration. I think it's easier to pick up on. I really do. And I think for myself, anyway, working in that sort of dark energy or whatever you want, the negative energy, however you want to put it, however people see it, I find that easier to work with.
Right.
I'm not saying I can't work with high spirit. That's not what I'm saying. But I think these sort of places that sort of have this sordid history, the demonic side of things, things like that, I find it easier to link in with. I don't know why, but I just find it easier to come down to their level, I suppose, if they want a better phrase.
It's the reason why I sort of chased a career in my hobby into demonology, because I found it easier to sort of connect with the lower level, and it's always tweaked my sort of thing. But with these sort of things like you're saying about, like, there'll be people out there that will turn around and say, oh, why is a spirit going to haunt somewhere where they were trapped in the first place? As far as we're aware, when you die, if you choose to stay here, you go to somewhere that you was happy, or somewhere where something bad had happened. Why would they go back to a prison cell when they were confined to a prison cell in the first place? I mean, what's your sort of perception on that?
I generally feel that because they've spent, look at prisons for a second. There's a lot of people that go into prison that spend a lot of time in prison. And
Yeah.
the energies that we pick up on have spent, we're not talking about energies that have been in there for 6 months for like nicking a loaf of bread from the local store. We're
Yeah.
talking about energies that have done some serious crap and
Yeah.
spent sort of 20 plus years in prison.
Mm.
It's the majority of their life. Their energy, if you want to call residual energy, or their energy is going to be there. Do I
Yeah.
think they're trapped there? No. I think they have the ability to come and go as they please.
Right.
But, that's just my opinion. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
So, and I just think, the more time you spend in these locations, and, we've come across spirits, you've worked with spirit, as well as, demonic stuff, that
Mm-hmm.
most of the times the spirit are there just to cause a little bit of havoc or play fun and games on you anyway. So if my light bulb or whatever you want to call it comes on when I walk into a prison because they're
Yeah.
going to have a little play around, then so be it. Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the main goal for any paranormal investigation team or anyone that works with the paranormal is to prove they exist.
Mm.
So if they want to come along and play silly buggers with you, as long as they're giving you a bit of evidence, it's all that matters, isn't it? Really, at the end
Exactly.
of the day. So
Exactly.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, with these places as well, you also got to take into the theory, like we're talking about prisons. Most prisons are built in stone. We've got to take into the theory of stone tape as well. You
Yep.
know, the electromagnetic frequencies from the energies that are before are obviously recorded into the stone. People talk about the stone tape theory being more prominent in things like wood because they were obviously a living, breathing anomaly in the first place, so they're going to be higher in refraction. I mean, do you find that when you go into these places it's more residual energy hauntings, or do you find that there are actual more spirits that are there than the actual day-to-day ghostly happenings?
I would say the majority of the places I go into, I think if you were, as a medium, I think if you
Mhm.
work hard enough and pull things through hard enough, and you have the ability to, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, but be able to change your vibration levels or change your way of thinking. I think you
Yeah.
can find energy. I think you can find pockets of energy. Yes, I believe in residual energy where things, play out in time and would just repeat itself and things like
Yeah.
that. I think that is a possibility. I think we
Hmm.
do see quite a few of that, but I think any sort of good medium out there will find energy. They
Yeah.
will look for the energy. They can change how they're feeling, however they work with, the spirit or ghost or however you want to put it. I call it energy.
Hmm.
With that energy, it's finding the correct vibration, finding the correct chakra and
Yeah.
things like that. I just think you have to find a balance that works for you. I don't think there's no wrong or right on this. You work with spirit how you work with spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I read a book based on Elena Blavatsky's life, and she was sort of into the occult and mediumship and stuff like that. And she said when you're channeling energies, other spirits that are around are able to feel that vibration and feel that energy and be able to channel in at the same time. So, sort of like almost like a post office queue where you're working with one energy and then it'll be cashier number 4, please. And the next one comes along. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, it's a fully researched subject that you're talking about. We're working with energies. There's so many mediums out there that have spoke about working with energies, and like the main one that sticks out to me is obviously Elena Blavatsky because I've done a lot of work on her because of her occultology tie-in. So the theory you're talking about is well researched. I mean, when you go to these places and say you're setting up, what sort of experiments do you find work? Because I mean, I've had a lot of trolling at the moment because my new motto is old school's the best school. I mean, going out there with a dictaphone and a torch and a camera and you're good to go. I mean, but what's your sort of take on that sort of thing?
Yes, the best tool for any ghost hunt is yourself. I really do believe that because I don't care if you have never worked with spirit before in your life. You speak to someone that you've never, don't believe in it, but they'll always say to you something along the lines of, "Oh, someone walked over my grave" or something like that. I think they've always had encounters. So the best tool, I do, yeah, Damien, I agree with you. The old school is being overlooked, and I
Yeah,
think the modern stuff can be put into the old school. But I think at the moment, I love a gadget. Don't get me wrong. I know if any of my team are watching, they're going, you're lying, Russ. Don't talk crap. But they know I love a gadget. But
Yeah.
really, the first thing I will do in any location, and you've seen Simon and that how they work as well, that we will just walk around the location. Do we take base readings and that? Not the first time we walk in there. I don't think you'd need to, because your first tool is yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember doing Kelvin and Hatch, which was Paranormal, my partner, and we were walking around, and you just get this vibe and this feeling when you walk in a room. I mean, working with the lower level and the demons and that, it is a different feeling to when the spirit's in the room. So I 100% agree with you there. I mean, the initial walk around, the body itself, the goosebumps, the hot and cold feelings, the dizziness, that feeling of deja vu where someone's watching you or you've been here before, what they call soul memories and stuff like that. It all plays into how you feel about a location.
100%, 100%. And then you can build on, what equipment that you feel that you need. I know there's a lot of, K2 meters. You either love them or you hate them.
Marmite meters, as I like to
Yeah.
call them.
But it's, as you say, a dictaphone, a voice recorder.
Yes.
There's a lot of apps out there at the moment that spirit tech. Yeah, okay, fair enough. If you want to use it, use it. It's fine, But at the end of the day, it's an app. It's generating words, and I do feel that we can shoehorn anything into a word that comes on the screen.
Yeah.
I really
100%.
do.
I'm so glad you said that, Russ. I'm so glad you said that.
Unless it is something happening in front of me that I cannot explain, like it says Russell on the screen, welcome to Kelvedon Hatch, then fair enough. I'm going to say, you know what? You've got it. It works. And I will always use that app ever again. But we can, even with sometimes like the spirit boxes and things like that, we can shoehorn sayings into it. Not to say it's wrong, because that's not, I'm not sitting here and saying that's wrong, because that piece of equipment that person is using may be raising their vibrations or lowering their vibrations for the actual communication that comes through. And that's where I say sort of the equipment can be put into it, but I think it has to be used rightly.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. When it comes to anything app based, I've had a lot of stick for saying what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, like we said at the beginning, it's our opinions. I'm not going to push it on people. I've seen some great evidence come from iPhone apps and Android apps, but at the same time, do I believe it? I don't know. Kelly J Ellis has put up human made apps, so all in fairness, not something we should be taking too seriously. I mean, I agree with you, Kelly, but like Russell said, I also agree with what he said. If they're using an app, it can serve a dual purpose as much as it's serving the purpose of, picking up these words and stuff. It might make the investigator feel more comfortable so they can then pick up on these vibrations, these vibes. It might even increase their vibrations or increase their sensitivity to spirit. So as much as they do hinder, they do help as well. So, I mean, I'm in the same camp as Russ when it comes to that. They have a dual sort of purpose. So
the only one I really sort of got on with, I don't know if you ever used it, did you ever use the Echo Vox?
Yes.
See, that was the only one that, because it wasn't, I know it was using phonetic sound.
Yeah.
But it was, we did an experiment over in Hockley Woods with it, and we took guests over with us, and this lady had a full-blown conversation with her dad through the Echo Box.
It's crazy, isn't it?
We just sat back and just watched it, and to be fair, my mouth dropped, because everything it was saying, it said a surname, it said, "I love you, honey," and things like that, and you just think, okay, the machine could probably generate that. I'm not saying it is, but at that specific time, there was something there, and that's why I just say, it can be that link into some form of communication. And if it gets someone on the path of spirituality, who am I to sit here and say it's a load of old cack? Do you know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I like to talk about on the show quite a lot. And I always sort of every guest I have on, I've always asked them the same sort of thing. Um, do you find like the paranormal is becoming quite a trendy thing now? It's become more acceptable. It's become more of a trend in the sense of, you have the Hollywood movies that are out there now. You have a lot of teams going on Amazon and uploading videos to YouTube. Do you find it's more of a trendy for like when days when we started?
Yeah, I think it's definitely. I think it's tenfold nowadays. I think it's from when we first started. You know, I've been working since with spirit since the age of 17.
Mm,
You know, and that is a long time. And since the changes that has come along, and to be fair, we try so much to try and keep it old school. We do,
yeah,
but you know, with the likes of Facebook and that, it's hard not to, because if you don't want to be left behind.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that,
No,
you know, there's a lot of, and it's just, it's just a lot of bitchiness on the paranormal world as well at the moment. And I don't like
yes,
that. I don't
nah,
like that. But, and that, just that's why I say your opinions are your opinions. If you don't like it, who am I to say it's wrong or right? But there's too many people out there at the moment that are trying to make it their opinion, and that's their opinion, and that's how it should be.
yeah,
How
yeah. I
can you prove
mean,
something? It's called paranormal for a reason.
yeah, because it's beyond the measurable sciences that we we compare everything to nowadays. I mean, a great sort of example of that is when I first started with demonology. I can't remember ages ago. I mean, after my experience at Harwich, I thought demonology was working against demons to expel them, but along the way, I found out it's more working alongside them and learning more from them than rather than going against them. You speak to people, and like I say to people, the greatest way of knowledge is storytelling. It's the oldest way of gaining knowledge is storytelling. So, I mean, your opinion, people might not agree with it, but it's great if people sit there and listen and take it on board. And who knows, down the line, 2, 3 years, they might turn around and go, "Joe, Russ, you was 100% right."
It's And even if they come up to me and said, I still don't believe you, I say, well,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you believe me or not. I'm not here to
yeah,
change your mind. My job as a paranormal investigator, and there's only one job, that's to prove there's life after death.
yes,
Um, and you've worked in the field for, as long as I have.
yeah,
Um, it comes, the demonology side of it is a part of the paranormal, however you look upon it, if it's biblical, if it's non-biblical,
yeah,
it's there. We have to
mm,
accept that. And I'm glad I'm glad that you said that, it's, we work alongside the demonology path, the demonic, as well as we have to try and fend it off.
yeah,
Do you know? Because it is there. And, Hollywood is a massive fault of this.
100%.
Hollywood, I blame Hollywood and these TV programs that mention demon every single step and every other word. And you just
Yeah.
think, shut up, mate. Please do you're using the word demon because it makes it so dramatic.
hmm
And that's the sad thing about it, because the demonic side of things is really interesting.
Yes.
I've never gone
100%.
down the path which you've gone down, but I do know a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And because I work in that field, I do
Yeah.
cleansing and I do work with the demonic side every now and again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just refreshing to hear other people say it, Damien, to more, because I don't think the perception will ever change because of the biblical sense, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the time, I mean, like I said to you, your perception changed over time. When I first started doing this, I was looking at demons through the religious side, and you know, when you look outside, when you look at demonology outside religion, they've been around for years before that, and you start to learn so much more. And it's the same with you. Obviously, when you first started investigating, when when we started back in the day, we were knowledgeable, but over the years we've just got to the point where we're even more knowledgeable now. But like I say, I'll never claim to be a specialist. I'll never claim to be an expert, because every day is a school day and I've still got so much more to learn.
How can you ever be an expert in a field that is never ever going to end until Casper the Ghost comes up and shakes? You know, we see Casper the Ghost on TV next to Mr. Johnson in his Monday night briefings saying everything's going to be all right. Then everyone can believe and we can stop, but it's never going to happen.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm just going to run over to Kelly. She's got a couple of things she's put up, and then we're going to hit the ad break, and then afterwards we're going to go in some cool bits I like to do. Kelly's saying, okay, so here's a theory. If, and that's a big if, spirit can use white noise to communicate, then why have we not experimented with small TV, no aerial, etc., and our spirit to talk through that? I mean, I remember seeing a video of you guys doing something like that. You have, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. White noise. That white noise sort of. We actually used it in. We actually used this experiment in one of our team leaders' house many years ago. We don't live in that property anymore, and funny enough, the actual sounds that we heard, we probably heard our clearest EVP of all time on it, and it's all it come out. He was trying to set the video camera up to play through his TV so we could watch what we were filming on the TV. Yeah. And it was one of the old TVs that went sort of that white and black, loads of dots. Was it fuzzy TV, whatever you want to call it? So as we was recording, you heard the telly going click, click, click. I thought, well, that's a bit strange. And we did some voice recordings. And the next time we saw it and heard it look back, is all we heard on that was big announcement, as clear as day.
Wow.
And no one was talking through that. So
it's just mad. Like,
it's energy, isn't it? Though? That's the thing. Yeah, it's energy.
Going back to bases, because back in, I think in the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s, you know, like, 'cause obviously, you know, we had this whole sort of psychic thing where psychics were majorly massive back in America in the late 70s, early 80s. And they were doing experiments with the TVs and that, you know, that's when the film Ghostbusters come out, and you had that whole thing about the Atlanta kidnapper that kidnapped them 29 children. You know, psychics were a massive thing back then. Yeah. So, I mean, Kelly, it has been tried. I know Russ has tried that experiment, and maybe it's something when you're out investigating, it's something that you're worth trying.
White noise is good. White noise is probably one of the oldest form of communication, like radio waves.
And if you look at spirits in general, they are an energy source. And energy sources generate frequencies. So if you look at it through the scientific side of things, then I just got to send a massive shout out to Tom. It's come as Facebook user, but Tom Warren, who's going to be on my show soon. He's got a book out there. We're going to be talking to him about that. He said new investigators need to go back to basics. 100%. Old school is the best school. It goes for paranormal investigations. It goes for Wicca. It goes for demonology. Back to basics. The basic stuff that they were doing hundreds and hundreds of years ago works.
Was that the old 100%. Victorian seance when they used to sort of blindfold the medium and stick them in the corner and time
red lights and all that? Yeah, turn it into like a psychic brothel.
Let's go back to basics. I'm all for that. Let's go.
Right, so we're going to get back to the questions from the guests to you, Russ, after an ad break, and I've got a few cool bits that I like to do. So we're just going to run into an ad break, and we'll see you all on the other side.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
And that's that. Joe, every time I play that, I'm still like, I made that. That's cool.
I got myself right deep into it. And we was talking about the telly. You put the telly screen in it, the fuzzy telly screen.
I've done that for a reason. It's to bring back the nostalgia of the Poltergeist films.
That's it. That's it. It's what we're drawn to.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the old days. Now, we move on to the second half of the show. This is where we have a little bit of fun. Especially when I've got investigators on here and people like that, because I've been an investigator, an ex-investigator myself. It's quite, I can relate to you guys. But yeah, we just start off with some crazy stuff. So I have this one bit which it's called What's in Your Box? Right. So picture yourself now, Russ. You're going out to your favorite haunted location, right? You're given a torch and you're given a camera. What two other bits of equipment do you take with you? You're only allowed to take two more bits of equipment. Now, I know you're a gadget man, so it's going to be hard for you to pick out two. So what two bits of equipment and why do you take them with you?
I'd probably have my voice recorder with me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've stumped me. And
it does.
What would I take? I think I probably would have my dowsing rods with me as well.
Oh, okay. Right. See, dowsing rods to me, it's one of them things where I think, I don't know if they work or not. I mean, everyone has their own opinion. You being a medium, you probably had like great things happen with them. Me, I just can't keep them straight. I think I've just got one leg longer than the other.
Yeah, but I generally think that's how I think they work. I do think that we move them.
Yeah.
I think the person moves them because I think spirit are put in, even though in the subconscious we hold them and we say we don't move them, we probably do move them because, as you say, we're picking up that energy without knowing and they move because it's the answer that you need to know.
Yeah.
I only use them for just to find an energy. It's all it. Once they've crossed or come out, that's it. Back in the bag, and I want to switch on with my head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. I've got some shouts out to Ames as well, who said, she said, who made it? I mean, she's a producer as well. I got to send shouts out to Ames. She does a lot of the adverts for me, and I sort of stick them together. So big shouts out to you, Ames. Ames is also saying, she said, demons get a bad press. People label demons wrongly because they don't know what they are dealing with. A negative entity is a negative entity. It don't make it a demon. 100%. 100%. A question from Kathy for you, Russ. It says, I would like to know if Russ has been to St. Peter on the Wall and what he thinks of it. Does he feel the altar was used for something bad? I saw blood when I touched it.
Oh, is St. Peter on the Wall the ad memoriam? I think it's at Bradwell Way.
I think
it's the church. If that's the church on its own, in the middle of nowhere, that place is pretty spooky. It's just very random. It's something that I have been there many times because it's nice and out of the way. Do I feel? I actually feel the only place I really feel safe is in the church.
Yeah.
I do feel safe in the church. The forest bit next to it, I just find, and that is if you're walking towards the church, the forest bit to your left-hand side, not the right-hand side, that isn't nice in there. I get a real bad feeling in there. But do I feel the altar was used for? No, I don't. I really don't on that one. That's not to say it wasn't, though. I just haven't felt it in there.
Yeah, I think Kathy sent me over some pictures of the altar itself, and there's some really funny carvings in it that I picked up on. Because as much as I work with demonology as well, symbology comes in it as well, and there are some really cool carvings in there. And Kathy's also asking, did you hear the monks? They slammed the door when she walked in. So if you experienced the monks
door movement in there. Have had the door. We've had knocks on the door in there as if someone wanted to come in. which, we just thought I walked up to the door expecting someone to be there, and there was no one there. And it is in the middle of nowhere, so it's no one can hide. There's
Yeah.
no hiding place because it's on a hill in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great when people sort of experience near enough the same thing. It's also like that corroboration sort of thing. It's great when, especially if you've been there at two separate different times, it's sort of like, okay, well, if that's happening then and that's happening when I go there, there's got to be some sort of story behind it. It's not coincidence. You don't know Kathy doesn't know you. It's like, okay, we're getting some corroboration here. It's great.
And that's what this is what that field should be about.
Yes.
Not people going there and say, no, that never happened. Don't be stupid, which there's too much of that.
Yeah.
Kathy, it is, even though I haven't felt it, it might just be, I haven't felt that vibration.
Yeah, 100%. At Yvonne, she says, good evening. Sorry, I'm late. I'm not happy. You're in detention. That's good to have Yvonne. She's always locked in every week. Right. Next part of the show. This is a bit of a crazy one. We call this bit the paranormal dinner party. Right. This is basically you're about to attend a meal at Hogwarts Academy and you have got to take a house ghost with you. It has to be someone famous. It has to be someone who's dead. So who are you taking with you and why?
What, as a famous dead ghost?
Yeah. No, it doesn't even have to be someone you spoke to before. It can just be someone who's famous and who's passed away, and someone who's going to impress all the students there at Hogwarts and the reasons why you're going to take them.
Why did you do this? Why did you send me these questions before?
Because if I send them, then you prepares you. I like to put people on the spot.
Who would I want to take? Who would I like just to speak to? Or take at Hogwarts? You know what? Controversial or not, I'd probably say Derek Acora.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no, I've had that before. But why? Why would you take Derek?
Because, once again, I think he was part and parcel of Essex Ghost Hunters' journey into the paranormal world and why we got started. And probably one of the biggest, most haunted as a brand was probably the most influential people when I was getting started. That was really only what was on TV. There wasn't much else. And Derek Acora in the earlier stages was awesome. And I've spoken to people who have seen him live, gone to his sort of cinemas and things like that, and they said he's just second to none. But how I watched him and how he worked, I just thought it was really good. So that's who I would take.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, he's the reason why I got into it as well. I remember watching the staple episode, the first episode where I cannot remember where they was on the pilot episode. It was the one where they was in the castle and he was picking up the ghost of the monkey that was owned by the owner. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That had me in stitches. I'm telling you, that's what got me into the paranormal. Now, I had experiences when I was younger, but I remember watching that episode and thinking, nah, that's what I want to do.
That was the famous Mary Loves episode as well, wasn't it?
That was another great one. That was brilliant. I don't really realise what he was doing at the time. Have you ever been on investigation and done something like that, where you said something and then afterwards, when you finish your meeting, you've gone, yeah, that's a bit bad.
Yeah. I've done that many, many times. And you just think, if someone had a bit of common and actually thought about what I've just said there, they'd probably call the police. Because sometimes your mind just goes, doesn't it? What you get in your head just comes out as a medium. So it's not filtered sometimes. And many times I've done it and you just think, and even watching other people work within my team, and I'm if I walk in and they've just said something, I think, oh my God, you've just said that. But then you look at it and you think, well, how else do you say it? You can't say it any other way. It's just how it is. Simon is a good one for that. Simon is a great one for that.
I remember Simon. I remember him. I mean, he just says it how it is, and you either take it, and then he's like one of them mic drop people. He'll say it and then drop the mic and walk off.
Yes, I like it though.
Yeah, it's quality. It's quality. I remember being down at Cash's Wells once, and we was at the side bit, and when we was with Truth's Paranormal, and we was just serving up drinks and that, and there's a car at the top of the hill and it's flashing its lights, and we're like, what's going on here? So anyway, we walked up there, and he said, "Oh, am I too late for the dogging party?" I was like, "What?"
Mate, it's well known for that. The Midnight Ramblers always used to follow us in. That was the scary part.
I went there once as well, again with Truth's Paranormal, and someone was doing some demonic sacrifice at the well. And as they walked away, I had my partner with me, and as they walked away, she went, "Oh yeah, you're all right." It turns out half of them were her mates from school. Like,
that was awkward.
He was just walking away with like a chicken's head, going, "Yeah, you're all right. How's your mum?" Like, it's. I mean, the stuff we come across when we do what we do is just crazy, and so much fun. I mean, when we're all getting along, it's just great, isn't it?
And I think that is part. I think this is how it should be done. I think sometimes there is too much seriousness in it. And I think if we look too serious, once again, I go, energy's low, serious is low. When you have a laugh and joke, how much more have you found when you've had a laugh and a joke, then something happens, it switches you back on because you've got your energies running.
100%.
It comes part and parcel. I really do.
Yeah. And they always say you sort of counteract the negative with the positive, and laughter and joy and all that is a positive. So it works well in the field that I work in anyway. New part of the show. I only added this one in a couple of days ago. This is a new thing that we do. This is called Investigate, Live, Avoid. So it's 3 locations. I want to know which location you would investigate, which location you would live in, and which location you are going to completely avoid for the rest of your life.
The place I'd avoid for the rest of my life, I can't mention on air because I'd never be allowed back. So investigate. Is it somewhere where I've never been, or
somewhere that the one place that you really, really want to investigate? It can be anywhere in the world.
Bran Castle.
Yeah, but why?
Because once again, I go back to the most haunted thing. I saw their week. They did a week live there.
Yeah.
And everything that happened. I've had a few people that I know that have been there and investigated there, and they said it was just awesome. I want them feelings. I want that feeling of Vlad the Impaler being there. I want to see if I can feel that myself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is there, but I want to know if he is.
Yeah, with me as well. I mean, I've always wanted to investigate Bran Castle because I read a book by Jim Mars called The Fourth Reich, and he talks about the experiments that the Germans were doing within Bran Castle for creating the super soldier. That it was like a paranormal branch of the German army that were working on these sort of the Glockenspiel, the bell-shaped UFO object, the fine object that travelled on gravity antimatter, and they're working on the super soldier through psychic abilities and stuff like that. And I think that would just leave a massive impression there. Can you imagine picking up on that sort of thing there?
Yeah, the energy's there. That's what I'm saying. It's been there. It's happened. It's stamped in time there. You're going to pick up something. It's just what you pick.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we'll leave the avoid bit because we don't want to ruin your. So where would you live if you had to pick one? So you've had to have been there with this one. That's the problem. So you have to pick some.
I know that one. I'd live in where I investigated with your team, and that would be Craigie Castle.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, I wasn't there that night.
Loved it, and I could live there in that place all day long.
Yeah, no, my mum and my brother and that said it's just an amazing place. Like, just the energies that they're amazing, and it's beautiful from the outside and the inside. It's crazy.
It is. We've been there a couple of times. We go quite a lot to Wales, and we always just pop in just to see the place every time we go past it. And it is, it's just brilliant. It's just lovely.
Yeah, it is a cool place. It's sort of a cool place. Little comment from Kelly that I was supposed to put up earlier. Take a look at your start date in Paraton now. There's beliefs you had then you don't have now, and vice versa. It's down to us as individuals to educate ourselves on our personal belief. So it matters not what others think of your opinion, as long as you believe it and still open to others' opinion. It's all good. Yeah, no, it's basically what me and you've been talking about for a long time, even before tonight's interview, when we used to sort of. I mean, don't get me wrong. Paraunity is a big thing at the moment. Everyone's banging on about this paraunity. You know, you've got to all get along and get along. It's. I'm going to be really controversial now. Paraunity is just a mask for people being bitchy. Yeah, friends are
It's never going to
friends. You
happen.
haven't got to put a label on it, have you? Do you know what I mean?
You haven't. It's never going to happen. Paraunity is never going to happen because there's too many teams out there that want to disprove what the other team is getting because it isn't their belief.
Mm.
And you know, we've worked together. We have worked together. We've done investigations together. We may have not seen eye to eye, but did we ever argue about it? No, we debated it. Of course we did. That's healthy debate. But to try and bring somebody down with their own opinions, they shouldn't be doing this and they shouldn't be doing that. Well, hang on. Where is the book that tells me how to investigate that I have to go by? It doesn't exist. No. Don't make that book up. It's not there. And I think that's, and that goes along with everything we do within this field. I say debate is healthy, but for one of slagging people off isn't. It's not there. It's, if you don't like what you see on Facebook or YouTube, whatever, you have an ability to not watch it.
Yeah, you have a choice. 100%.
But people choose. They want to sit there and they want to. Because they've done something, they've investigated something, and they haven't done it the way they would have done it. They would be keyboard warriors and actually type away and say, "You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this." Well, you haven't got no right to tell me that.
No, exactly.
There's no book that I've got to follow. Sorry, sorry if I'm ranting because I really do. That really does goat me off at the moment.
Yeah, no, 100%, and I agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, I had Dr. Cal Cooper on last week. He's a doctor in parapsychology, and he went into town with this whole Estes method. Yeah, you're aware of the Estes method, Joe? The SB7 in the ears, the headphones on, the blindfolding. And he said it's not actually called the Estes method; it's the noise reduction module. And this is from prior research. It's something they used to do back. I mean, these sort of things we can correct people on because there's proof of it. But with investigating, there is no investigator's handbook. There is no demonologist handbook. There is no mediumship handbook. It's how you work and how you feel comfortable and how you approach the way you investigate. I mean, my team always used to do baseline tests. Your team always used to do baseline tests because it gives us better results at the end. There's other teams that don't do it. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and go on investigation with them and go, do you know what? You're doing this all wrong, because it's how they feel comfortable and how they approach the paranormal that's important.
And sometimes it may need just sometimes, you say, did you just do a baseline test before you started? And if they say no, you just leave it. But people on there would ridicule people for that. There's trolls there. That is when you said at the beginning, what's wrong with social media? That is it. They can sit behind the keyboard, put a picture on that don't belong to them, and then just slag away.
Yeah. Ames is saying, says there's no paraunity. There are small pockets of it. Paraunity is where you help and share information. How many teams do you know share information? I mean, it's true. I mean, when I was investigating, we had our set teams. We used to share with you guys. We used to share with a couple of other teams and that. And we all used to, because we was all friends, and that's just the way it works. But if any team approached me and said, "Look, you've been to this location we're going to. What sort of information you got?" I'll be happy to share it. I have teams approach me now and go, "Oh, you've dealt with this case. Can you help us out on this case?" I'm like, "Well, pass me over your notes. Let me have a read." And all that. Like, well, no, we need you. Well, how am I supposed to do anything if I don't know what's happening? What you expect me to travel to America? And it doesn't work like that. But there you go. Yeah, it's just crazy.
It is one of them fields, though. It is one of them fields that's all. I suppose it's been controversial for the test of time. Do you know what I mean? I mentioned Derek Okora. He's been ridiculed, in time. But at the end of the day, he was a great medium. What he did in the middle, it will tarn him for the rest of his life. Poor soul. But he did have the ability.
Yeah, and I put it down to psychology as well, the psychology of people. Like I can't remember who said the quote, but there's a famous guy that said the quote. It only takes one. You can do as many good deeds and not be recognised, but it only takes one for people to recognise your bad deed.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true. It
it's
only takes one
100%
thing.
true.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly. Kathy's saying that she likes sharing. Amy's saying that she likes sharing too. Von says that she likes sharing as well. It's great that you guys share. It is great. I mean, if we're going to advance in this field and we're going to prove that there is life after death, everyone's got to share. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I mean, we'll move on to. I've called this one. This has got a bit of a crude name, but it's called the Big Plug. This is where I give you a chance, Russ, to plug all your events you've got coming up if they're going to happen because of COVID. Any lives that you've got coming up, just plug away and let everybody know out there who's watching live now, who's going to lock in to watch it later on. So let them know what's going up with Essex Ghost Hunters.
Well, fingers crossed that obviously on the 17th of May that we know is the big date for the paranormal field to sort of start running events again. So hopefully that we have got an event at the end of May. I think it's the 29th at Charlton House. It's our first time there. I do believe we've got a couple of tickets left for that on the website, which is www.essexghosthunters.co.uk. Feel free to just follow us on all our social medias, which is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything like that. We're always available to talk. It always comes through to one of our 4 admins. You've got Simon, Kim, and Sandra that will always pick up the messages. So, including myself. So, just all go for any ticket information. Just go over to www.essexghosthunters.co.uk and just click on events, and they will all come up down there. And we're just hoping that we get a year out of it. Once we got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So that'd just be the good thing.
Sandra's saying, Sandra Arnold, she's saying, can't wait for the Essex Ghost Hunters events to start again and miss our guests.
She's one of our lovely admins, Sandra. She's the one that has to put up with. She's the one that does put up with me moaning and bitching, Damien. She's definitely the one that is the one I'd. She must hate me.
Kathy's saying how much is interested. Head over to the website, Kathy. Essexghosthunters.co.uk. Head over there and or if you want to talk to Russ after the show, add him up on Facebook and he'll have a chat with you. And we'll sort something out. Kathy's like one of the regulars. She's always logged in. So it's good to have her on. But yeah, Russ, honestly, mate, it's been a great conversation tonight. There are a few more questions I want to ask you, but we're out of time, so we're going to arrange to get you on again. Because like we've just spent like literally 40 minutes talking about Paraunity doesn't exist and all this sort of thing. And I wanted to get down to like you've been investigating for so long. I wanted to talk about experiences you had and so on. So we'll arrange another time to get you on the show if that's cool.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah. And we're going to sit down and we're going to get down to nitty gritty and what you guys have experienced over years. And hopefully by then you're investigating, so you can bring a little bit of some evidence along. Let the guys. Yeah, no, I mean it'd be great if it happens soon. It doesn't feel like lockdown for me. I've been working the whole time.
Same here, but it still has that knock-on effect, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think.
Yeah. But I just want to thank you for coming on, Russ. You've been an excellent guest tonight. I mean, Essex Ghost Hunters, you guys kicked me off in my career, so thank you.
No, thank you for having us. It's an absolute pleasure, and it's brought back loads of memories. So I could talk for hours on this field, you know that. So it's my hobby. It's as simple as it gets. I could sit here to 12 o'clock tonight and still be going.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, Russ, honestly, once again, thank you for coming on. Everybody, Russ's, if you want to find out anything about any of Russ's events, head over to essexghosthunters.co.uk or add him up on Facebook and they're all there. Trust me, it's a professional website. They're professional people. The admins are there to help. It's all good. And I've been on a lot of Russ's events and they are the mutts nuts. So make sure you head over there.
You're too kind. I'd emphasise the professional bit though. That was a bit sketchy, wasn't it? Professional. Where's that one coming to? Let me ask you for their money back.
It's been great having you on.
It's a pleasure. Honestly, thank you for having us on. It's been great. It really has. Nice to catch up.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. All right, take care. Yeah.
Cheers, matey. Thank you ever so
See you
much.
later, mate. So everybody, yeah, that was Russ on the show. Once again, we're going to get him on again because I really want to talk about some of the stuff that he's been doing and sort of like the things that Russ has been doing. It's because I know Russ has been investigating for a long time, and I really want to get him and get to the experiences. But yeah, I want to thank all the guests that have been on tonight. Don't forget, I have got merchandise going up very, very, very soon. It's going to be over here on the link below. Facebook.com/Catface merch. It wasn't me, it was the Demons t-shirts will be going on sale soon. So if you want to get one of them, I'm looking to get a new t-shirt out with a new quote at least every month. I'm hooking up with Catface merch, who's going to become an official sponsor on here to do the t-shirts, and it's going to be great. Really looking forward to that. Right, next week we're joined by Justin Clifford from Somerset Spirits Paranormal. We're going to be talking to him about his experiences. I know that he went out tonight to do an investigation, so we're going to be talking about stuff like that. But yeah, don't forget, you can catch me here every week, 9 till 10 p.m. live on the HAPRC network. I want to say thank you to everybody that's been locked in tonight. Everybody's been answering their questions. A massive, massive thank you to Essex Ghost Hunters and Mr. Russell Owl for coming on tonight. It's been a great conversation. So until next week, don't forget, guys, take care, look after yourself, and keep it